deep inside, but you monsterfinity.
Hello, welcome along to another in the Qmulus Virtual Summit for 2021. I'm David Beard. I'm the CRM Principal. You might have seen me before here. Thanks for coming along to this session. I'm joined by Danny, who's the founder and owner of Qmulus. Hi, Danny.
Hello, how are you?
So this session is called Becoming a Trusted CRM Advisor. So this is for our partners around the world who are interested in maybe learning more about the skills and tools you might need to become an advisor about the CRM toolset to possibly your accounting customers. So we're going to answer, I hope, the questions about, are you a trusted advisor? What is a trusted advisor? And then some. So that's the plan. There are 3 conversational roads I want to take you down in the next 15 minutes, and Danny will chip in and out with his views too. And they are as follows. 1, managing employee engagement with CRM, because I think that's a really important idea. Learning from CRM specialists like Danny from the years of experience, and building a successful business, which of course Danny will speak to much more than I will, because he is doing that right now. Our aim by the end of this session is to leave you with ideas on why being a trusted CRM advisor is a good thing to do, and how the changes will make an impact in your business, and where you should start to embark on some successful customer engagements with CRM. So let's take the first one first. Managing employee engagement and strategies for CRM. So this one's always been of interest to me, executing a strategy so that everyone in the business gets it, so that you get the buy-in to the deployment. And to me, I think the idea of having engaged employees and where that intersects with CRM strategy is really interesting. And the simple sort of framing device I put around this is this idea that in order to be competitive and differentiate yourselves versus another business anywhere else in the world, companies choose to compete with knowledge-based skills, right? You know, if you can buy something from 4 different people online at a click of a button, how do you make yourself different? And how do your customers, if you're a partner listening to this, how do your customers make themselves different? So it's all about service excellence that you can use to acquire and retain customers. Now, harnessing this knowledge-based skill as a differentiation means employees are engaged, ones that are willing to invest the extra effort to make an engagement with a customer worthwhile and useful and productive. So what does that mean to employees? Well, when I've talked about this before, there are a number of outcomes that connect engagement with CRM strategy. And there are things like employees understanding the vision of a company. So in their case, what are the goals of the company and how did that translate down to their pay packet, their reason to come into work, things like that. And employees also need to feel like their input to the business matters as well, right? So what they do and how it intersects with the business strategy, so that they feel valued and incorporated inside the company's strategic view. And that control or that collaboration gives the employees a feeling that they can manage their destiny. Now, if you take those sort of big falutin ideas and put them in the context of a CRM strategy, well, in my many years of watching CRM strategies, the ones that go off very well, where the product is delivered well, typically hit 2 key points extremely well. 1, the requirements of the CRM implementation are directly and visibly linked to the goals of the company. So if the goals of the company are to be in 3 markets versus the one we're in now by 2023, then people understand that and they can see what's happening, right? And then you could have a CRM system and an implementation of that CRM system that follows through on that goal. And so that's how those things intersect. And then the second point, where the intersection of the engagement and a CRM strategy comes together, is that the intended users of CRM have direct input to the way that the system is to work. And that direct input is right from the beginning. What do we need to build? You know, what problems are we trying to solve with CRM? Right through the demonstrations of the product. I like this one, but I don't like this one, that sort of thing. And then into the implementation. I want the screen to look like this, or my report should be like that, etc. Don't you agree, Danny? That's the sort of thing people are interested in engaging with.
I do, yes. I mean, as most of the business processes cross more than one department, enabling sort of a good CRM system doesn't just revolve around fixing the one process in that department. Really, with that collaboration falters if you just look at one, well, with the typical sort of customer journey from start to finish, sort of being interrupted at that point.
Yeah, I agree. I think you're right there. I think any strategy needs to be company wide, and it needs to make sure it doesn't just go down a hole once it leaves the department.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's focus on the second point of this theme of this conversation, I should say, this idea of learning from CRM specialists from their years of experience. I remember speaking before I handed Danny for his view of the world to a partner in our North American market a few years back. And that old subject came up, the one about why doesn't CRM work for certain customers? There are certain customers go, oh no, not going to work for us. And the view of this North American partner was that too many companies went ahead and switched on all the features of CRM in one go. Day zero, they went, yeah, switch it all on. Let's have the whole lot. And then expected that CRM product to be done. They thought that was the project, really. And yeah, sure, everything on at once means it's a shotgun approach, but like shotguns, sometimes not very accurate. Ticks the boxes in terms of what they think they want, but doesn't really address some of the things they need. And we were musing, this North American partner and I, particularly as maturity generally around IT projects is much better than it used to be 10, 20 years ago, why this continues to happen, this shotgun approach for CRM continues to happen. And their view, which I agree with, is pretty much because customers are used to buying maybe an accounting system from someone like Sage, where they expect it to be installed and finished, boxed up, ready to go in one cycle of implementation. And the trouble is that may work for accounting, but it makes less sense when you're buying something that has to work across a business, as Danny alluded to earlier. When you have a tool that covers multiple data sets, multiple processes, and use cases, and those should evolve over time. You know, you pick a strategic path, right, Danny, and you make sure you develop in a certain way or implement in a certain way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just want to add another reason as well, really, which is sort of linked to the first point you're discussing there. It's generally that if customers sort of take the install in one cycle thinking and they're sort of hoping to get a faster return on investment rather than taking a sort of staged step-by-step view over a longer program cycle, it becomes a bit of an issue, really. We always prefer to do a sort of staged approach.
Yep.
Sort of from the initial install of ways in which they want to work as a business that they might not have known sort of right from the start, really. And obviously, when their sort of consulting partner sort of delivers that big picture story of CRM, which is obviously fine, by the way, but it sort of fails to introduce and manage the idea of change management within the business and the project return over time. If you just go for sort of a shotgun, big bang type approach, it's quick, but it's, as you say, going everywhere and not an accurate way of delivering right from the start.
Yeah, and the implementation's a nightmare from your side as well, because you know all the moving pieces, they're all in play, and then things get dropped. There are key points that get lost in translation, you know, particular need to be filled but doesn't get filled, etc. And the customer then is sometimes left with the concept that CRM was a waste of my time, a waste of my resources, when actually it's not the product, it's a failure of the overall implementation approach, right?
Absolutely, yeah, you do. I mean, you need to sort of get the people on board and deliver the solutions in a staged approach, because you end up getting so much more from that CRM system. We take it as trusted advisors to our customers. Our aim is not really to be yes people, but to guide that customer through a life cycle of implementing the solution as their trusted advisor or business partner. The name obviously as Sage Business Partner suggests, and that's where they get the most value from their products, because we're not here just to deliver their Excel spreadsheet specifically in a CRM system. We need to look at the reasons why they're using that spreadsheet, what the output is, etc., and deliver that through a phased approach of the implementation.
Yeah, very true. It's you know, garbage in, garbage out, or make your spreadsheet faster than it was, but doesn't make it right. Yeah. All right. So that's a nice segue into talking more about your business now. So a successful business leading with the Sage CRM tool up front. Danny, talk to me about Qmulus. You know, your profile on LinkedIn, your company's profile talks about your business specializing in improving client productivity. Talk me through that. What's that mean?
So yeah, so we the fact that we are specialists in Sage CRM is sort of irrelevant initially in the first part of the conversation, and that's the platform that we use generally to help businesses sort of put an IT solution into their business that matches their requirements. But really, the sort of key part and the first part of that is our ability or our understanding of the customer's issues, and really get to grips with the problems that they have, and then trying to look at potential improvements around that. And that may or may not involve Sage CRM, and it may or may not involve certain parts of CRM at certain places in that process. But we really work with them not just on putting a CRM system in, but actually on looking at the customer's requirements first and what they're trying to achieve before we get anywhere near sort of recommending any kind of solution for the customer.
So thinking about that point then, how does the first conversation start?
Well, obviously, when we first engage with a customer through various means, we start with a general discussion about their business. We like to try and find out what they're about, where they come from, where they're going, what their aims are. Because as I said before, we're not sort of yes people. We don't just turn their spreadsheet into a spreadsheet in Sage CRM. We like to think of ourselves as more sort of business consultants who, based on our experience of how we've implemented solutions for other customers, and other business process solutions for other customers, we can suggest ways that they might be able to improve their processes using both their existing software and obviously Sage CRM along the way when that fits in with their various parts of the business.
Okay, so when you have that first meeting, that first conversation, virtual or otherwise, do the customers understand their own issues, or do they even know that there's something that CRM could help with?
I mean, honestly, most of the time they haven't sort of fleshed out and understood their own problems per se. They figure out there must be something out there that they could use that would help them as a business. But we do find that a lot of our customers, a lot of our business comes from existing Sage customers that already have some kind of Sage accounting product, and they trust Sage and the Sage brand to help them deliver some kind of solution for their business. So it's fairly common for the people that take on Sage CRM to have already had an accounting product, but that's not always the case. We do obviously have customers that have come on new to Sage purely for the CRM product as well. But generally, a lot of the people trust Sage in its portfolio, and it becomes one of those products that are on the list of CRM applications that they're looking at when they're looking to engage.
And when you get to that point, when you are talking about the product, how do you talk about the value of it, and how, particularly with the integration to accounts, how do you convey that to them?
Well, there are certain key aspects that every business needs, really. So every business needs to capture their interactions with customers. I mean, obviously, the term CRM or customer relationship management reinforces the point that one of the key aims of a CRM system, but not always the only aim, but one of the key aims is to track and manage customer interactions. And when you combine that with, I guess, the huge increase of on-the-road working, or actually at the moment, working from home, more and more businesses recognise the need to blend both those customer-facing interactions with more sort of back-office information. So understanding maybe stuff that's outstanding, or money owed, or orders that are currently being placed and may interfere or adjust their way in which they're talking or dealing with that customer based on some of that back office information.
Okay. And the sort of people you're talking to, Danny, who are they? In the majority of cases, is it senior management, or?
Yeah, I guess in the majority of cases, it is senior management who first contact us. They sort of know that there's an issue or something that they would like to do better, and they don't often, as mentioned earlier, don't really know what that is a lot of the time. So if we went in there and just immediately tried to sell Sage CRM or another product, we're really not doing them or giving them any help. We're just trying to sell them something to make some money, and that really doesn't help you build sort of trusted CRM or trusted advisor role. So we sort of meet with them first, and then we try and align everything that we do, and try and understand more about the business, as I say. And then on the second meeting, we start to show them maybe some of the things we've done for other customers and the products that we have in line with their needs. And ultimately, maybe at the third meeting, start to dive deeper into that specifically to show sort of exact features and functionality of product that may then match their criteria.
Okay. All right, so we've only got sort of 30 seconds remaining. So any final commentary about partners who are keen to embark on this journey? Some pithy reminders.
I mean, really, you have to, from my perspective, you have to not put the money on the table at the start. You need to make sure that you're aiming to deliver a really good level of service and have those people have the customers get the most benefit they can get out of the product. And that doesn't involve just diving straight in and trying to sell them something straight away. That can be a slightly longer process, but really understanding what they're trying to achieve, and then understanding the product and how that can help them really is a way of them trusting you as a provider of a service, be it a software service or a consultancy service.
Right. Okay, good. The key's in the name of the session and what you say, isn't it? All right, thanks, Danny. That's Becoming a Trusted CRM Advisor. My thanks to Danny for coming along, and thank you for listening. Bye for now.